Back with Power Breakfast on CNBC TV 18. The Lok Sabha has given its consent to the Banking Laws Amendment Bill. The Reserve Bank of India has more powers now, but M&A activity in the sector will still be under the purview of the Competition Commission of India. Siddharth Zarabi has more details on the same.
The Lok Sabha has finally approved the Banking Laws Amendment Bill 2011. Remember, this is almost taken 2 years in the making, because it was March of 2011 when this bill was introduced in Parliament. The Standing Committee of Parliament, headed by Yashwant Sinha on Finance, gave its report last December, and to the year almost it taking for this bill to be approved. And what it really took was the Finance Ministry stepping back, withdrawing one key clause, controversial clause, which was a last-minute introduction, that is to allow banks to enter into the forward contract space. That being dropped, the Finance Minister, making that clear, allowed for a short debate and this bill to be approved by the Lok Sabha. What it really means, apart from the key clauses, which include the RBI getting empowered to supersede bank boards, to inspect the books and accounts of associate companies, the voting rights being capped at 26%, to be raised from 10% to 26% in phases. All of that known. The key really deliverable that will result from this bill is the process for the issuance of new bank licenses, something that's been pending for quite some time. The government very keen on that, and in some ways expending a lot of political capital and energy in getting this bill passed through Parliament. This should therefore allow the Reserve Bank of India to now move ahead with the final guidelines, the eligibility norms, prescribing who can apply, who cannot apply, the possibility, what we are picking up, that NBFCs could get a leg up, the minimum net worth requirement possibly 500 crore or even more, and several other conditionalities that will be imposed. The draft guidelines, remember, have been out for quite some time now. The sense that we are getting is that the process for inviting applications, which will be a long dawn process, could start in the new year, possibly within January itself. And once that happens, you will be in a position, possibly again before the end of the current term of this government, that some bank licenses will be issued. Will there be a cap or not? We don't know. The hint that we are getting is possibly no caps, because the government is very keen that as many as is possible, newer entities get into the banking space, so this entire issue of underbanked India gets dealt with. But of course, the RBI will be the final authority. We are also picking up that there could be an independent committee set up by the RBI, headed by possibly a deputy governor with experience of all these matters, and involving outside experts to consider wet applications, put them through the ringer in terms of getting the details out, and then at some stage in the next year we could possibly be close to the issuance of new bank licenses.
All right, Siddharth, thanks very much for that. On that note, let's also hear out the man of the moment, the Finance Minister.
We have now said capital now can be infused by rights issues, bonus shares, etc., so that every accepted mode of raising capital, without diluting the public sector character of the banks, can be employed, and banks will get more capital. Government is committed to infusing more capital. Most of the provisions of the bill are intended to strengthen the regulator, the RBI. I don't need to read all the provisions which are intended to strengthen the RBI, but I think everybody agreed most of the provisions are intended to strengthen the RBI. We will not take out the banking sector from the Competition Commission. RBI will continue to regulate the banking sector as far as the banking regulation is concerned. The Competition Commission will also regulate anti-competitive practices and would have to approve any merger. Please understand, not one of our banks is among the top 20 banks of the world. China has 3. Not one of our banks is among the top 20. Today, if a loan size is about, say, 6,000 crore, there is not a single bank which can take the portfolio on its book. It has to put together a consortium. We need 2 or 3 world-sized banks. And 2 or 3 world-sized banks will come by some smaller banks consolidating with the larger banks of this country. But we will still have over 20 public sector banks, and each one of them will grow.
Time now to get to listen in to some Time now to listen in to some key voices on what they're making of this move.
I think it's a step in the direction of further reforms and achieving some more progress on the ground on the financial services sector. I think some of the enablers that have come into the bill, which is in the form of the voting rights, which makes any kind of a promoter of a new bank feels comfortable because it doesn't get reduced to 10%, and you have 40% financial stake, but you can vote only 10%, and then because of some situation, you end up losing control. That doesn't happen so easily. I think it protects the interests of the large financial investors.
I think it's very refreshing to see that the Parliament has taken up and passed several of the pending points of legislation, and it's very good to hear that the banking bill has been passed today. I think we clearly need more facilities in terms of banking in the country. This will allow both international banks, Indian banks to operate in a stronger manner.
I would say that these moves are in the right direction and nothing much is going to change, except that it's a very positive thing for new banks to come in. Banking license can't be free for all, obviously, and we have to make sure that we have banking system which is viable. And that viability means that you can't also have too many banks which are not able to perform as per the criteria laid down. So you have to be careful.
And the Lok Sabha has also cleared the Companies Bill 2011.